Hello everybody, welcome to Patron Week, wherein it was a tie between Dungeon Keeper and Baldur's Gate in our 20th century themed week. So obviously we picked Baldur's Gate because, come on.
It's very on brand for me especially. This is one of my probably top 20 favorite games ever.
The patron who suggested this said that we'd be fine doing the enhanced edition, so that's what we're doing, so that we can do multiplayer, and Ruts and I can play as the Bard Twin Party, Cactus Cooler, and Baja Blast.
Yes, Josh was on the fence about what kind of classes and races we should pick. I don't know what you guys think, Chris, Alex, but I thought that having a couple musicians would just... Starting our own band, it's time. After all these years.
Can you make a band with two people, though? Has that been, like... I know that's probably a thing people have asked before. Many a time.
If it's not too much of an imposition, I was really hoping you guys would provide the backup vocals and percussion.
So, can you do something for me real fast, Rutskarn?
Anything for you, Joshua.
Navigate over to my character page and look at my character's bio.
Okay. I'll read it aloud, shall I? Oh, I actually can't. I can't read it aloud because... Oh, no, I can't.
You can't?
While you were drinking cola, I studied the blade.
Alright, good, cool. So we skipped over the initial tutorial stuff, because that's really boring and a bunch of running around and killing rats and stuff. So here we are.
We're about to speak to our foster father, Gorion. We've spent our entire lives cloistered inside this sheltered monastery private school, but some bad shit is a-brewing. If we'd poked around, we would have gotten attacked by multiple assassins. Now we're about to be dragged out by our extremely long-lived foster father, who has an excellent, excellent prognosis. Let's find out how this goes.
Listen carefully. If we ever become separated,
not that it'll happen, because it won't. We should definitely meet the supporting NPCs who are less interesting than our all-powerful foster father. Again, it's not going to happen, but just, kind of good to have a contingency plan in case a storyline happens.
Who is Gorion's voice actor? Because I feel like I've heard him in a far more famous role before.
I forget, but that's the thing. Every voice actor in Baldur's Gate turns out to actually be, like, this major voice actor that you recognize from
like
all
way
of
more
these
famous for something else.
Yeah, even more so. Yeah. Gorion. Gorion. For example, the voice of Minsk is the fucking voice of Winnie the Pooh.
Yes.
Oh, it's Jim Cummings. Jim Cummings is worldly famous. Winnie the Pooh, Darkwing Duck, Monterey
Is
Jack.
Jim Cummings also Gorion?
He's Gorion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
And he's Winnie the Pooh. What else is he? He's Pete. He's PJ, or he's not PJ, but he's Pete. He's like in a million things. He's basically the go-to Disney actor.
They got the voice actors right for this game, I'll tell you what. I have a lot of good things to say about this game, and I doubtlessly will.
Especially cruel this morning. You awake with the realization
I also really quite like the narrator. I will say that. I quite like the narrator's voice.
That guy looks like the villain, the Buzz Lightyear villain.
He really does.
Zerg.
He does.
But that does not remove the feeling.
And people are going to be like, this came before it. And I'm like, did it?
Hand over your ward. The armor
Maybe.
No, this was 97?
I don't think we saw Zerg officially until Toy Story 2.
That's
true, yeah.
That's correct.
This is the nerdiest conversation I've been involved with all day, for the record.
Excellent.
With rather draconian entry rules.
Yep, so basically, our foster father's dead, so now we need to press on and recruit the supporting NPCs. There's a lot of recruitable NPCs in this game. This is very much before the paradigm of having NPCs be fully fledged out characters with their own backstories. All of the NPCs in this game have a very classic feel in terms of like Dungeons & Dragons campaigns where the DM's kind of flying by the seat of their pants. where NPCs will have their own quest and their own personality, but not a backstory per se, or at least not a one you explore. And that enables them to have like dozens of recruitable NPCs in this game, and a lot of them are good.
It does kind of suffer a lot from the way that D&D alignments work, though, where like you really can't have a good party with evil party members and vice versa, or like things are going to go bad.
Sure, they'll leave eventually. Anyway, so when you play multiplayer,
for some reason they grabbed you for this conversation.
Yeah, it arbitrarily decides who. Josh is actually playing the protagonist, and it does matter who the protagonist is.
If Rutskarn dies, I can just keep going. If I die, we have to start over.
It doesn't matter what we say. Anyway, do you want to control Imoen or shall I?
I'm on it.
It's not like she does very much. It's up to you.
Give her to me.
I don't know how to
she
assign
definitely
her
does.
to you, actually.
She definitely does quite a bit. Okay, I think it's character arbitration. Yeah, it's character arbitration. It's the bottom.
What was the original
on the left-hand side?
Baldur's Gate
here
multiplayer?
I believe there was a multiplayer ability.
It did have multiplayer. It was a lot more difficult to. Oh, that's weird.
I'm on it.
It was a lot more like it didn't have all the features that this does, and it was like you had to connect to a specific IP and do that kind of stuff, or just do it locally.
Well, a busy day for
like
me indeed. Strange noises throughout the night, and now a plethora of people strolling about the wood. You do look a touch more hospitable than the last two I met, though. Well-met stranger, I am called Colsed.
The dialogue in this game sucks, by the way.
That is not fucking true, Joshua. That is not
terrible.
Fucking true.
It is awful, faux Shakespearean nonsense.
No, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. That is not true. All right, so the thing about this game, I'm slightly drunk. The thing about this game is that some of the dialogue is like kind of inexpert, where it definitely feels like a DM sort of trying to play something up to be dramatic when it isn't. But there's a lot of different kinds of personalities and stuff that emerge, where like it really like there's characters that have like a very specific kind of affect, or like where they have a very distinct, interesting personality. It's never boring. And there's like this guy here is like, he looks a little loquacious, but that's the thing. That's unusual in this game. People aren't usually like this. It's just this guy, for some reason, talks like a fucking thesaurus.
A lot of people in this game talk like a thesaurus, Rutskarn.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
So this character, more than any other character in the game, talks a lot? Not like a final boss or like a main character?
Like he signs off with "fare thee well," as they say. That is very unusual for a commoner in this game. Like, the fact that he has this kind of, like, bizarre speaking style is notable. Like, this guy's like, "Hello there, kid. My companion has something to say to you."
You are so aggravating. It is disturbing to my demeanor.
And, like, look at these guys. So, so these guys are a partnership, right? They're like partners in crime traveling across the countryside. It's a thief mage duo. They're both evil as fuck, transparently. Like, they could barely conceal this from you in a very short conversation.
Potion.
Yes, but then they immediately try to spin that off as like, hey, since we did you a favor, why don't you do us a favor? Like, they're not slick. They're members of the Zentarum, which is like an evil organization. But anyway, so their deal is that, like, again, they can sort of barely not act evil for 5 minutes together, but then once you have them, like, it kind of spills out where they're just like, they have no patience for this pretense any longer. And Monteron's just kind of like sort of sinister and nasty, whereas Czar, like, has this kind of like soft-spoken elegance, which is then punctured by occasional bursts of just like neurosis.
So how do we want to divide these guys up? Should I can take Czar if you want to take Monterey. Czar and I have the same avatar, so like obviously we need to be controlled by the same person.
That's actually not how it was in the original game. It would give a new avatar. It would always have for every character like a replacement avatar. Like if you took their portrait, this is what they'd have instead.
Really? I don't remember that. Oh, I didn't.
That was the original system, yeah.
The portraits are the other part of this game that are not fantastic. The enhanced edition has new ones, but which are better, but like they're not great.
Let me just spell it out here. The portraits in this game are photoshops.
But, I mean, I feel like that's kind of what Baldur's Gate 2 has. See, I've played Baldur's Gate 2. I've never played Baldur's Gate, so I have no idea what's going on. But Baldur's Gate 2 actually had really good portraits.
Uh-oh.
And isn't this the enhanced edition, so the portraits are fixed a little?
No. They're not.
No, they didn't? Oh, okay.
There's no positive changes made to the portraits whatsoever. There's some new ones.
I mean, I believe that,
right.
for sure.
I'm just going to have Czar go on a walk here.
For anybody
I just feel like
interested,
one of the simple things you would do in an enhanced edition is just update the artwork.
Yeah, you would think that, wouldn't you? For anyone who's curious, in fact, maybe for Chris and Alex, go ahead and look up Minsk original portrait on Google image search. It's the same portrait as the enhanced edition, but he gets a new He gets an updated portrait that's much better in Baldur's Gate 2. Are you assessing your options alphabetically, Josh?
You paused. I was waiting for you to...
Oh, fair enough.
Am I looking at the Daniel Craig one, the guy with the hair, the Tony Stark looking guy?
It's not. You can...
He's the guy who's looking
down.
The guy who's looking straight ahead.
Go on then. Right, what's this then?
So, like, the one where he's talking to his buddy, the little rat?
Yeah, but, like, if you look at the rat, or, like, the hamster, rather, it's, like, the worst CGI hamster ever that they mocked up, like, in 2 seconds in whatever the 3D software they had, and then crudely arranged into a photo bash of probably, like, an employee.
I'm trying to think of, like, what software they'd even be using for this in, like, 1997. By the way, you're in control here.
Why? Why on? No, wait, no, I'm not. Left click on the blue Earth. There you go.
I did several times. Oh, god damn it! The great thing about playing in the Forgotten Realms setting is that you get to run into all the Forgotten Realms Mary Sue characters.
Okay, to be fair, there's like 2 Forgotten Realms Mary Sues in this entire game.
And they're both in this game.
In this entire game, I said.
What are they? To inform someone who does.
The characters that show up in the novels.
Yeah, so Elminster is an impassionately Mary Sue-ish character from a series of novels by Ed Greenwood. He's a wizard who like fucks the god of magic. Like that's an actual thing that happens. And he shows up several times in this game to say, "Oh, yep, you have a great destiny. Very mysterious, but I'm just a simple old man." Yada. It's really lame.
Is he like a prophet? How does he know the future?
He doesn't know the future. He just knows a lot of stuff because he's old and a Mary Sue.
It's basically if Gandalf were written by a bad fan fiction author.
Yeah, it's like if Gandalf was somebody's player character. No, it's like if Gandalf was somebody's non-player character.
Yeah.
So that's one, and then Drizzt also appears for like 2 seconds, and then he's gone.
I believe he also shows up in a separate encounter if you name your character Drizzt.
Yes, that is correct. If you name your character Drizzt Do'Urden and you're of evil alignment, he shows up to fight you for the right to have his name.
Which is just... And you can kill him.
Alright, so this guy, he's like a little hunter, so he tells you about... Okay, so can I talk about something I love about this game? You guys ready for this?
Sure.
Okay, so TSR made one really good decision in the 80s and 90s with managing their brand, which is not to overexpose shit. Like, I don't know if you're aware of this, but like the Drizzt novels that were like the main fantasy novels people read besides Dragonlance in like the 80s and 90s, like he wrote the original draft of those and then he gave it to the editor, and the editor's like, yeah, it's okay, but can you set it in a completely different part of the Forgotten Realms? Because we don't want to like overexpose this part that we already have going on another project. Similarly, in this game, they do a lot to make it feel like not just like every other Dungeons & Dragons novel or game or setting. Like, for example, Alex and Chris, name like a Dungeons & Dragons monster that you would expect to fight.
A troll.
This game does have trolls.
A beholder?
But no beholders in this game. But, oh, okay, so let me just sort of skip straight to the point. No goblins. No orcs. Like, none of these, like, no zombies. This game does not have any of the, like, super typical, like, low, especially monsters. Instead, they just have... In fact, it actually may not have trolls. I think trolls might just be in Baldur's Gate 2. Instead, it just has...
They do have a bunch of kobolds, though.
Yeah,
like
but
a
kobolds...
whole lot.
Kobolds are like the classic Dungeons & Dragons monster from this era. If anything, this game raised the status of kobolds to sort of have a wider reach, but it's like they sort of reached in for the deep cuts that were specific to Dungeons & Dragons and also this campaign setting. So like you fight a lot of gibberlings, not goblins. You fight Zvarts. You fight Ettercaps, gnolls. You fight, like, and it does a lot to make it feel like not the same game as all of the other, like, Dungeons & Dragons and fantasy games you played in general.
Right, what's this then?
Why are we paused? Paused for movie. Oh, did I skip it?
Yeah, you skipped. It's okay, you're not missing much. The movies are just transitions.
All the cutscenes were redone for the enhanced edition. The original cutscenes were... like very bad like mid to late 90s pre-rendered stuff that
in terms of visual quality they were very low. I will say they don't overstay their welcome, and some of them are actually managed to kind of like do a little bit of decent story, like brief storytelling.
I grow torpid and require
I'm an apologist for a lot of this game's storytelling. It's kind of basic, but it also I think is skillfully done in very specific ways.
This game defined CRPGs for the next like 10 years too. It's like and continues to define them to this day. Baldur's Gate 2 shares a lot of that, but
I would describe this game as basically feeling like a basic but very well done Dungeons & Dragons campaign.
But like, if you've ever wondered why we still have new games coming out with real time with pause, this game is the reason.
I also quite enjoy this game's combat system, but I'm willing to back down on that point. Okay, so he just casted Mirror Image on himself. So that basically means that when we hit him the next few times, we're going to be dispelling the mirror images instead of actually damaging him. The solution? Just keep hitting him, basically.
Yeah, it makes mages a little less squishy. I'm going to use Offensive Spin, because I'm probably going to rest immediately after this, so why not?
You're going to try spinning, that's a good trick.
Yep, that's what the blade does. I can do that once a day. Alright, you spent a bunch more money than I did back at the tutorial area while we were setting up, so I'm going to take this gold and go spend it on some junk.
I thought I would be very obnoxious.
As someone who's currently writing about role-playing in games, and this being a historical role-playing game, how much actual role-playing is in this? Because so far we've been walking around and killing kobolds.
Excellent question.
We've not killed any kobolds yet.
It's an excellent and very nuanced question. Oh, I can't stand the way the roads are cut off these days. My uncle's at Baldur's Gate and I can't get there to see him. God damn, I could barely understand that with all of these $20 words this game is using, Josh. You were right. Just what a loquacious video game.
There are a lot of characters who speak with $20 words in this fucking game, Rutskarn.
Tumbles from the tongue of this simple yeoman.
This game could
How
use
come
an
the
editing
roads are
pass,
cut
all I'm
off?
saying.
God damn, could you keep it down to like 2 or fewer words? Christ.
BioWare got a lot better when they started trying to voice all the dialogue and realizing, oh, I can't drop a giant word salad on top of people every 2 seconds.
All right, you know what?